Kitty lives in a barn. It is a very noisy barn. The horses whinny. The cows moo. The sheep baa. The pigs oink. The chickens squawk. Kitty does not like noise. Kitty leaves the very noisy barn. She will look for a new home. A quiet home. Kitty goes into town. She passes the spell and potion shop. She passes the milk shop and the tea shop. The shops are too noisy. Kitty keeps walking. Kitty enters a forest. At first, it is very quiet. Fairies fly over to Kitty. "Beware the silent dragon," they shout. "Beware his fiery breath." The fairies are very noisy. Kitty keeps walking. Kitty comes to a swamp. A frog jumps out of the water. "Beware the silent dragon," he croaks. More frogs jump out of the water. "Beware the silent dragon," they croak. "Beware his long, sharp claws." Frog voices fill the swamp. Kitty is not scared. She keeps walking. Kitty reaches a valley with green, grassy hills. Suddenly, the ground begins to shake. The hills are full of stomping giants. "Beware the silent dragon," they yell. "Beware his spiky tail." Kitty sighs. She keeps walking. Kitty arrives at a mountain. It is very tall. She starts to climb. And climb. Kitty climbs above the noisy barn. She climbs above the noisy town. She climbs above the noisy forest, the noisy swamp, and the noisy hills. On top of the mountain, Kitty finds a cave. She goes inside. It is very quiet inside the cave. There is a warm fire. There is a soft rug. Kitty is tired. She curls up on the rug. She takes a nap. When Kitty wakes up, she sees a dragon. He has fiery breath. He has long, sharp claws. He has a spiky tail. But Kitty is not afraid. "Hello, dragon," Kitty says. "I am looking for a new home, a quiet home. Can I stay here with you?" Dragon smiles. He wags his tail. He nods. He is so happy to have a new friend. Dragon makes Kitty her very own rug. He brings her fresh milk. Kitty trims Dragon's claws. She chases the mice away. Dragon likes living with Kitty. Kitty likes living with Dragon. At night, Dragon tucks Kitty under his wing. Together, the two friends fall asleep. One morning, Dragon goes outside. The sky is blue. The wind is blowing. It is the perfect day to fly a kite. Dragon finds his kite. He waits for Kitty to wake up. When Kitty opens her eyes, she groans. "My nose is stuffy," she tells Dragon. "My throat hurts. My head, achoo! I have a cold," Kitty says,
I cannot fly a kite. I need to be alone so I can rest.
Kitty closes her eyes. She falls asleep. Dragon tries to fly his kite all by himself. But it is no fun without Kitty. Dragon has an idea. He will help Kitty get better. He goes to his library. He reads books about taking care of kitties who have colds. When he is done reading, Dragon knows what to do. Dragon goes to the kitchen. He boils water. He pours it into a big cup. He adds a tea bag. He stirs in honey. Dragon puts a cup of hot tea next to Kitty. Kitty drinks the tea. It soothes her sore throat. She goes back to sleep. Dragon makes soup for Kitty. He chops onions, garlic, carrots, and celery. He cooks them in a pot. He adds broth. Dragon stirs in fish and herbs. Finally, he adds some noodles. He simmers the soup until the noodles are done. Dragon ladles the soup into a bowl. Dragon puts the bowl of soup next to Kitty. Kitty eats the soup. It warms her tummy. She goes back to sleep. Dragon looks for sewing supplies. He digs for a bag of fabric. Dragon watches his crystal ball to learn how to quilt. Next, we thread the needle. Dragon begins to sew for the first time. Dragon is not happy with his first try. It does not look quite right. He pulls out the thread. He starts again. When he is done, Dragon has a blanket. It looks a little strange, but it is very warm. Dragon puts the blanket over Kitty. He is careful not to wake her. Kitty sleeps all night. In the morning, Kitty wakes up. She stretches her legs. She clears her throat.
I feel better, she says. Thank you for the hot tea. Thank you for the fish noodle soup. Thank you for the warm blanket.
Dragon smiles. He gives Kitty the kite. Together, Dragon and Kitty fly the kite in the sunny, windy sky.